Hello, good morning, everyone. Today we're going to have this topic, no, prophets. So, who are the prophets? So we have heard so many things about prophets. No, we have uh, heard the prophets. Who are they in the Bible? No, yung so many mga prophets. Okay, so what is a prophet? No, so prophets are humans who speak on God's behalf. Some of their messages are more dramatic than others. Some prophets, like Ezekiel and Zechariah, no, see elaborate visions, while others simply call the people to remember their alliance to Israel's God and the Torah, like Haggai and Malachi. No, so the prophets, no, during the time of the Israelites, no, during the time when Jesus nga wala pa, so prophets, no, they are the messenger of God. No, they are the one who send messages uh, to the people of God. No, so they are messengers from God. No, and then they send the message to the people. No, that God chosen. No, so lahi-lahi ang papel sa mga prophets. Now there are prophets who elaborate visions, no, kanang makita na sila yung nakita, and then there are prophets reminding, no, so reminding ni pag always nag-remind to the chosen people of God, to their alliance, no, to their commitment, and to their relationship kay God, no. So it's also important to note that the Bible mentions false prophets, individuals who claim to speak on God's behalf but don't, no? And to further complicate things, while God has his prophets, some prophets speak on behalf of other gods too. No, the famous example of this takes place in the showdown between Elijah and the prophets of the Canaanite god Baal. No, when Elijah demonstrates, he's the one who speaks on behalf of Israel's true God. So if you have watched, no, yung between, no, Elijah and the false prophet, no, so pila ka false prophets, so around mga more than 50 prophets, no. So gi-challenge ni Elijah, no, kung kinsa man ang makabutang ani nga fire, no, kung kining kahoy, kung tinuod inong God kuan ni, no, kinahanglan ang God nato mapasigan ni niya ding kahoy, no. So it is in the Bible, no. So there are lots of prophet and mga false prophets, no. So the major prophets, so in the Bible, so we have learned the divisions of the Bible. So we have now the major prophets, and then the minor prophets, no. First we have the major prophets. So these are the major prophets, no. Isaiah, no, makes significant claims about God's coming judgment on the nations of the world and Israel for their oppressive practices and rebellion against him, no. So Jeremiah warns the people of Jerusalem and the surrounding nations about the disaster that their sins will bring upon them, but also anticipates hope in God's ability to redeem and restore people to himself. So Ezekiel now takes a priestly approach, warning Jerusalem of the coming destruction of the temple, but also foretelling a day when the glory of the Lord will return to Israel and bring life to the broken land. Also, if we see Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel, no, so they have the common message, no. So about the judgment of God, no, the judgment of God and the destruction, no, and restoration, no. God will judge and will destruct the practices, no, the practices that the chosen people did, no, mga practices that are evil, no, in the sight of the Lord, and then the Lord will destroy that, and then will give hope, no, and restore, no. So mo na siyang common nato makita, no. The book of Lamentations is a reflection of the prophet Jeremiah on the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple. Daniel was a righteous man of a princely lineage and lived about 620 to 538 BC. He was carried off to Babylon in 605 BC by Nebuchadnezzar the Assyrian, but was still living when Assyria was overthrown by the Medes and Persians. But Daniel continued through to Jerusalem. So si Daniel, no, we are very familiar about the story of the Daniel, no, how he became a great prophet, no, how he became a prophet of Nebuchadnezzar, and then foretelling the future, no. So kini sila mo ni sila mga major prophets that we could read, no, on the Bible. Okay, so we have now the minor prophets. So if kung naapoy mga major prophets, so we have also the minor prophets. Okay, the minor prophets is a collection of 12 Old Testament books known simply as the 12 or the book of the 12 in the Hebrew Bible. The title minor refers to the length, not significance. These are the minor prophets, no? Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi. So, dili gid kayo ang ilahang time, dili kayo taas, no? So Hosea was son of Beri and he lived in Israel during its golden age. Under Jeroboam II, Hosea or Hosea was a common name in ancient Israel, now derived from the Hebrew word salvation. It means help or deliverance. So that's why he was chosen to be the prophet, no, during that time, because sa name niya salvation, no, deliverance, no, because Israelites during the time they were invaded, ano, they were invaded because God let those invasion to them because of their bad practices. And then here comes mga prophets, nagasend God sent prophets, no, for the people, for his choosing people, no, to to go back to the right path, no, nga iyahang gihatag, and then to commit, no, and then to go back to the commitment that they pledge. Okay, Joel, no, Joel's vision of the locust plague is also perhaps among the most familiar prophetic images of impending invasion and devastation, no. Next, we have the Amos. You see, Amos was a shepherd and sycamore fig farmer from Tekoa, a village about 10 miles south of Jerusalem. Amos highlights the truth that God shows no partiality, a timely reminder in an age of professionalism like ours. So, ni Amos, no, that God, no, that God shows no partiality. So, and then a timely reminder in the age of professionalism like ours. Obadiah, no, Obadiah means servant or worshipper of Yahweh, and it's a common biblical name. There are at least a dozen other Obadiahs in the Old Testament. The book of Obadiah is the shortest book of the Old Testament, just 21 verses long. So Obadiah, no, the shortest book, no, of the Old Testament, no. So siya ang pinakamubo. Next, no, we have the Jonah, no. So we are very familiar of the story of Jonah, no. Diba? Familiar kita sa life ni Jonah, who's Jonah, no. So what was his journey. No, the book of Jonah is unique among the prophetic books of the Old Testament. Rather than being a collection of the oracles of the prophet, no, it relates an episode in his life. So we have known the story of Jonah, no, di ba? Di ba? Di ba? No? Assignment mo, no? So, be, comment daw, be, or chat, no, if you really know the story of Jonah, di ba? So, si Jonah, di ba, he was tasked by God to go, no, on that place, but he refused, no, dito siya sa lain nga direction ni adto where nakuan na hinuon siya, no, to yung barko nga nakuan, nag-face na hinuon og struggle, no. So, ito siya. Then Micah, no, a contemporary of the well-known prophet Isaiah. No, Micah was from Morshet, a small town located in the hilly region between Jerusalem and Mediterranean Sea. He's one of the few prophets referred to specifically in another prophetic book. No, can you see Micah? No, Nahum, no, more than a century after God spared Nineveh from judgment, no, prophesied through Jonah. Nahum also declared the judgment of God upon the wicked city of Nineveh. So, ang Nineveh, no, it's still in the Jerusalem, or it's still on Israel nga, Israel nga area where gisilutan sila, where God put judgment to that city, no, because of some bad things nga ilang ginabuhat. Okay, we have the Habakkuk, no. Little is known about Habakkuk, no. The book doesn't give us any genealogical or historical information about him. The purpose of the book of Habakkuk is to examine the issue of God's justice on a national plane, no. So God's justice, no, the issue of God's justice, no, where he punish, he judge, he distract his chosen people, and why God distract or punish or judge his chosen people, no. So nga naman, because of the um evil things nga ginabuhat sa iyang mga chosen people, where they are not walking in the righteousness, no. So mo na siyang issues diha, di ba? So chosen people of God we're given time, we're given justice, no. God were so merciful to them, but still they broke the covenant that they had, no, that they had during that time, no. So mo na siyang ngano mang gina-judge man gid ni Lord ang mga tao, nganong ginaput man, why he put punishment to his chosen people, no. Siguro because people are not walking in righteousness, no. Zephaniah's purpose was to initiate change in Judah by pronouncing God's judgment on wickedness. No, Zephaniah's message focused on the day of the Lord, which he claimed was approaching fast. No, so Zephaniah, this is referring to the God's judgment and the coming of God. No, no, the coming of God is ingon niya, approaching fast. So hapit na, no? Hapit na pag-abot sa ni Lord, and hapit na paghukom ni Lord sa kalibutan, no? So that's what Zephaniah emphasized, no. So that's why Zephaniah wants to change, no? Sorry, to change people in Judah into righteousness, and to leave the wickedness that they are practicing. No, even today, no, we could reflect that one, no, even today, no. So there are a lot of things happen uh today, no, in the world, no. So where we experience crisis, no. So maybe some people say that sign of the coming of God. So Haggai, no, Haggai has two titles that identify him as a spokesman for God. He's called the prophet, and he's labeled the Lord's messenger. Haggai's purpose is to initiate the reconstruction of the temple of Yahweh in Jerusalem, because the temple of God were broken, were distracted, because also that's because of the wickedness of the people, no, wickedness of the people that as we see, it's again and again, no, it's happening, no, again and again, no. So the people always are rebelling, always nag-rebel kay Lord, and then God punished them, and then God they were invaded by the other country, by the other nations, no. They were persecuted by the other nations, but still God showed mercy to them, no, give them hope, no, then bring out them from the exiles. But still they still murmuring, and they were still questioning and doubt, no. There's the doubt is still in their mind, no, about God. So that's why during Haggai, no, we have to rebuild, reconstruct the temple of God, no. Zechariah, no, his task was to prepare the people for proper worship and temple service once the building project was complete. No, Zechariah is a track or troubled times. No, first the prophet rebuked the people for for perpetuating the evil ways and deeds of their ancestors. He exhorted them to repent and return to God in a renewed covenant relationship that demonstrated social justice. So same, no, same. So but Zechariah, no, uh, he wants to prepare the people for proper worship. No, so what's a proper worship? No, as we see today, no, as you go to church every Sunday, so observe, no, as you observe, no, there's a proper worship, no. So how to worship God properly, no? So it is written, no, in the Bible, no, worshiping God, no, properly. Next, no, Malachi calls Israel to repent, to renew their covenant with Yahweh. This will enable the press and people of God to restore proper temple worship and practice social justice with the community. Same with Zechariah. No, so people must repent and renew their covenant. No, because God and the Israelites, they had, no, during the time, no, they had a covenant, no, until today, no, the covenant still with them, no. Kita apil na punta ng sa covenant na to because we were the apostles of God, um no, were sent, no, were sent, they were sent to different countries, no, to different areas to share the gospel and to spread the gospel and to help people to accept God, and we are also with that covenant. Okay, so those are the those are the prophets. Now we have learned now what is a prophet, no, and who were the prophets during the time during those times, no. So we have learned the major prophets and the minor prophets, and each prophet, no, they have a different talent. They have different missions, but even though they have different missions, but the result is one, no, to uh, to help people to renew their covenant with God and to leave, no, the wickedness, no. So that's all, and thanks for listening, and God bless.